they were in prison. Does that mean that everything you taught them stopped them from having fights?
No, what it means is that this particular prison, Woodburn, in New York State, they already have spent a lot of time in prison, and it's a really good place, and they're trying to practice kindness. The whole prison is very calm. Don't believe what you see on TV. Who was surprised by the way these men talked? Okay, well, that's because the only thing you see on TV is supposed to make these people look a certain way. Who else has a question? Yes.
When you guys did the choreography, was that expressing how every single one felt, or was it only expressing one person or any certain person?
Which piece in particular?
All of them.
All of them? Well, it was expressing how they all felt. Because in order for them to do the dance well, they had to be real, and they had to feel what the dance was about. So they were all willing to do that. They were willing to be what? What's the V word we already discussed? They were willing to be vulnerable. As a matter of fact, they did that piece in front of the 800 other guys that are not in the dance program. And that was being very vulnerable. Questions? Yes, question.
In the dance they did expressing themselves, did they get to show any relatives they had?
No, that's another issue. They are not allowed to show any of the people who would want to see this the most. I don't know if you realize it, but many, many, many men in prison have children. Some of you, I don't know, there might be some kids in this very school who have a parent in prison. And they wanted to show it. So what this organization does, it's called Rehabilitation Through the Arts. It makes a film and sends the film to the families so their children and their parents can see them doing something really positive. Because a lot of these people have brought nothing but pain and shame to their families. And they want to change that. They want to practice kindness. Yes?
After the teacher, the person, like the boss of the camp for the little kids, after he said like the video was gay, did he shut down with the whole program?
Yes. He shut down the whole program. Don't think for a minute that there aren't adults who are bullies. There aren't adults who exclude. There aren't adults who judge things. And that starts at your age. So you're lucky. You're right at the beginning. You could change your whole life today if you've ever been mean to anybody. Yes?
So all of them were free?
All those guys that we're talking have gotten free. Except the one guy at the end.
The one that raps?
No, the rapper, and they're all on Facebook, and I'm in touch with all of them. But the last one, the one who said the lesson doesn't stop, he's the only one still there, and I see him every week. Why? Because we have a system. Some of you, was anybody curious at all about why most of those people were African American or people of color?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's a question that some of you could use between now and Friday to research and see if that has anything to do with injustice or with bullying or with exclusion. You might want to look into that. That's an interesting question. Somebody asked me a question. I don't know if I answered it yet. Did I answer the question that someone asked me last? Yes.
Wait, why did he get free the last one?
The one who
Why isn't he free?
Yeah.
Okay, because we have a system. I don't know, how many of you have ever known of anyone in prison? Ever? Raise your hand if you've known of somebody, a family member, a friend of a family, or anything. Raise your hand high, if that's true. Be vulnerable enough to be honest about that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's more than half of you, or about half of you. So, those of you who have someone in prison might know that there's a system we have in prison called parole. And it's a very strange system. Some of you who might be looking someday to do social justice or to research something could research our parole system. It's very arbitrary. Does anyone know what the word arbitrary means? Okay, what does it mean?
It probably means important, or I don't know, I'm probably guessing. I think it means important.
I'm sorry, I missed the last
It probably
word.
means important.
Important. No, what it means is that nobody knows why one person gets paroled and the other person doesn't. The system isn't objective. It's not the same exact criteria. So depending on who a person sits in front of at their parole hearing, they may or may not get paroled. So this man's been turned down 3 times.
does that mean?
He went to parole board and said, I'm a good person, I'd like to be made free now, and they said no. So he's coming up for a 4th time soon, and I'm hoping he's gonna get out, because he's a very, very decent person and a very good friend of mine, after 9 years of seeing him every Sunday. Yes.
And what did he do that he asked to stay in jail?
Well, I don't say what they do, and I don't
It's
ask
private.
them. I never ask them. Sometimes they tell me, but I never ask, because who would want to be, you know, most of the guys in prison go in between the ages of 16 and 24 before their brains are fully developed about understanding the consequences of their actions. So I don't want to judge them now they're 30, 40, and 50 for something they did at 16, so I don't ask. So I don't know what he did, but I do know it was serious, or he wouldn't be there. Yes.
Did like the older people we just saw, did they watch the younger video? Wait, which video was first?
The younger, the boys'
so did
prison
the
was
older
first.
people like watch the
I haven't brought that video in, you know why? Because what if they recognize somebody from their neighborhood or somebody's child? You know, I have permission to show the second video. The men have all signed releases that I can show it in schools. But the first one, I have it so very far away so that if any of you, by some chance, recognize somebody, that would be the wrong thing. I would have done something wrong if I had brought in a video where you might have recognized somebody. Yes.
So it was the one that's still in prison is the one who smiled at the end, or the one who was
The one who
sitting in
smiled
chair?
at the
with
end.
glasses.
The one that smiled at the end. And he's a very, very, very decent, very kind person. Wasn't it interesting to hear them talking about attention?
Yeah.
And attention being equal to what?
Love.
Love. And you could hear from the sincerity in their voice that they have paid a terrible price for not knowing that. It's something that I've given you a gift today that you know. So maybe you're going to use that the rest of the day. That would be amazing, because on Friday you're going to get to dance a little bit. You're going to get to dance to a song about kindness right here in the classroom. Even if we're crowded, we're still going to do it. And you're going to get a chance to taste and experience what those men experience when they move. Who else has a question or a comment? Yes.
Kind of a question and
Okay.
comment. How come, like, really, I was expecting them to be, like, being rude and disrespectful to you while you were trying to teach them something.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to be, like, doing disrespectful stuff while you were trying to help them.
Because I'm what?
No, I didn't say anything. I said this kindness.
They're the most respectful people I've ever met in my life. They're very grateful to me for going in there and giving them some happiness on Sundays and some chance to practice attention. There's a lot of crime shows on TV, a lot of prison shows. There are places in the country where prisons are much rougher than this prison, but they're very, very polite, and they immediately danced. They had their private and public personality in the dance program is one and the same. They immediately took to this. There was no problem in my getting them to do it. There's nobody saying this isn't cool or anything. Yes.
So everyone did it?
No, only the men that volunteered to do it. There's 800 men in that prison, and you can see I'm working with 15.
It was
No, it's only men.
only men.
Only
Yes.
Girls and men can.
Oh, I was gonna.
Yeah, girls.
I'll get to you next, honey. Yes.
I forgot.
Okay.
Oh,
Speak a
wait.
little louder if you can.
Wait, there's 800 on that
No.
that video or the other one?
No, there's 800 men incarcerated in that building, and I work with 15 of them.
Why?
Why are 800 men incarcerated? Because they committed a crime, or they didn't commit a crime, and they just got caught in the web of somebody thinking they committed a crime. But most of them did commit a crime, and they admitted. Anyone have a question? Question. Okay. So, now I would like you to tell me, I'm going to turn this off, with our last 5 minutes,